Hello, I'm Dan. Welcome back to Vinyl Fury. I've found myself with a rare day of actual free time, so thought I'd go ahead and make this video that I've been trying to make for a couple months now to kind of catch up with the additions to the collection over the last more than a year. So let's do it. So the most recent addition actually is something that I ordered from the UK, and it's something that I had been looking to get into the collection for quite a while now. Jaga Jazzist, the Stix from 2003. For whatever reason, I've never seen it in a record store. I've only ever seen it overseas, and the price was hit or miss for me when I was looking for it. But I finally found a copy listed in great condition, and I went ahead and ordered it, and it took a long time. The seller didn't even get it in the post for probably a couple weeks after I ordered it, partially due to not being able to get to the post office, I think. But it finally came, and it wasn't in great condition, and it sounded great actually on vinyl. There's a double LP, and I love Jaga Jazzist and their blend of modern jazz with electronic elements and really cool beats. They've made some really fantastic music over the years. They have a new album coming out. It was actually supposed to be out already, but they pushed it back because of distribution holdups for obvious reasons, and kind of sucks. I was really looking forward to that, and still am, but really glad to have this one. So this is from, I guess, Record Store Day last year. It's another Jeff Buckley release from the pre-Grace sessions when he was signed to Columbia and he went into a studio to kind of record ideas and covers and just kind of feel it out, I guess. And for a long time those sessions were bootlegged. And then they finally started coming out officially with You and I, which is a 2 LP set, which I enjoyed. And then this is some more from that. And while I adore Jeff Buckley, and just like anyone else get excited about the prospect of hearing something new or different that he did, this is definitely not stuff that he would have put out himself. It definitely wasn't meant to be released. And it's extras beyond the first set of songs from that session, so really it doesn't really seem necessary. Certainly not to have on vinyl, I don't think. You know, they should just do whatever they're going to release from that session, put it all out at once, do a 2-3 disc set, and just have that be the thing, rather than milking it even further. So yeah, it just seemed, a lot of the songs on here I know and love, and it's cool to hear different versions of them. It's just, I'm not convinced that it really needs to exist like this. But I am a sucker for Jeff Buckley, and I got it. So there you go. This is also something that I've looked for a long time, but the original release of this, there's only 500 copies, and this was 2007, so I'm sure it didn't sound great. It was just kind of a thing to do at the time, but it's the presumably last Silverchair album called Young Modern, which I do enjoy, and just like the last two before this, really, this is definitely way beyond the music that they started with, which was alternative rock, right out of the grunge era, drop D riff, helmet type stuff. This takes a page from the Beatles book for sure. There's a lot of great arrangements, and several of these songs flow into each other to create kind of a suite. And it's a great record. certainly if it is their last, it's a good way to go out. They'd actually been recording a follow-up and broke up during that, and I've never heard anything from those sessions really. This is on blue vinyl, and I did order this from Australia. That's really the only way I could find to get it. But even with shipping, it turned out to be not that expensive to get, especially for something that I had really wanted for some time. And it does say that it's limited. I don't really know how limited it is. And the sound quality was fine. Not a huge improvement. I'm not even sure if it sounds as good as the CD, really. It sounded kind of thin. It just wasn't impressive, really, the sound. It was cool to hear the record again. I hadn't really listened to the album in a few years, probably. The pressing quality is decent enough. I just felt like I wished I had more EQ control to kind of balance it out the way I'd like to. I think there was a lack of mid-range, maybe. But it's cool to finally have it. So this is the latest from Russian Circles. It's called Blood Year. And I wasn't sure if I was going to get this on vinyl. Found it for a decent price. And this is the independent record store version that is on gold vinyl. Done at GZ Vinyl in the Czech Republic, as per usual with a lot of this type of music and Sargent House records. And I enjoy the record. I love Russian Circles and their heavy post-rock sound. And it sounded okay, and then by the end of it, I thought, I don't think this was really worth it to get on vinyl. So that was a little disappointed. Their releases have been hit or miss as far as vinyl sound quality, pressing quality goes. And some of them I've sold because they were lackluster. I might sell this at some point. Really love the music though. Russian Circles keeps delivering, but just a little disappointed with the vinyl. Next is a collection of covers from Third Eye Blind. It's called Thanks for Everything. And Third Eye Blind has been steadily making music since their huge debut in '97. And they've actually been very active the last 3 or 4 years. They put out a record, an EP, this EP. I think they're working on another album right now. And they've been touring a lot. And this was cool. I think Third Eye Blind really has a unique sound. And if you didn't know the original versions of these songs, which I didn't know, probably most of them, you wouldn't really assume that it wasn't their stuff. The cover of Blood Bank by Bon Iver is great. I know they played that live quite a bit before. And it's very faithful to the original, but definitely has that Third Eye Blind sound on it. And it's a cool color. Also done at GZ by the look of the vinyl and the dead wax. The clear with black splatter and a bit of blue, which definitely matches the aesthetic, and it's a nice piece of wax. So this, at this point, I don't remember where I found this, but it's the first Earl Klugh album that I ever found 10 plus years ago. I remember finding that quite clearly because I saw this cover and I was like, this has got to be awesome. And I saw him. And the music was not what I was expecting. I expected like a mid-80s light pop vocal sound even. But this is, Earl Klugh is an excellent jazz guitarist, and this is definitely a mid-80s flavor kind of. I don't know what to call it without making it sound unappealing, but I actually love it. It's a little more upbeat and definitely has that 80s production, but records like this used to sell quite a lot of copies. I mean, this is Warner Brothers. But of course I've had this for a long time, but I saw there was a Quiex 2 pressing and a gold stamp promo, so as a vinyl collector that seemed appealing to me, so I picked up this copy as well. And the Quiex vinyl has the transparent amber. You probably can't see it. It probably looks black. But if you have light behind it, you might be able to see it. Let me try. I think you might be able to see the color there. And finally, this is the second album from Abel Baker Fox, called Visions. And Abel Baker Fox is a band that I've talked about several times over the years, and their debut album, Voices, is one of my favorites ever. I have a complete collection of that album, its various pressings, including a test pressing that the singer was actually kind enough to send to me. And so when this came out, I guess it's a few years ago now, I ordered the European edition that came with a screen-printed art piece. And it's a very cool colorway. And this is the US edition on red vinyl, and I told myself, look, I don't need both. I'm not going to do that this time. And I didn't. And then I just got curious, and I was looking on Discogs, and I found it for like $10, still sealed. And I was like, fuck it. So I got it. And it is on a clear red. I like the European edition more, even. I couldn't help myself. So yeah, that's it for now. These are all the ones that I listened to between the last videos that I filmed and now, and took notes, because it had been so long since I'd gotten most of them that I felt I should do that before I talked about them. So there you go. And there's just a few more that I would like to listen to again before I talk about them. I will at some point. And then there's other things I can talk about. The newer cartridge that I have, I think I mentioned last time, and I actually got a separate phono stage for the first time in a long time since I've gotten this amp. I got the Vincent Faux 8 phono stage, which you can see is in 2 pieces. Maybe you've heard of that before. It's working out pretty well. I got some, I don't know if you can see them, vintage Akai speakers from the mid-70s, which I'm now running with the Sony towers that I've had for a long time. Blending them together has worked really well. It's a really nice sound. And I found that for some music, like that Earl Klugh record and stuff like that, sounds best through the Akais. So it's really nice to have that flavor option. And yeah, so maybe I'll talk about that stuff in more detail another time. And until next time, thank you for watching. Take care and enjoy your music.